What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, podcast 23. Here with my guy, Bretson. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always good to be here. And episode 23, hard to believe. And lack of a whole lot of midweek action means that Alex is going to force me to rank really hard things, and I don't want to do this. I'm doing this against my will, guys. I'm just kidding.
Basically, what Brendan is here on about is we need to know. No, you guys were asking us who are your top 5 lists of players in the world right now.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that is a reasonable question to ask because who are the best? You want to know who are the best. So before we talk about that, everyone that was mentioning now, Ollie out, you're crazy, he should stay, he's changing the club. Look what just happened. Look what just happened. Okay, I just wanted to say that before the top 5 because that wasn't what United fans want.
Because he's obviously your number one. Right? I mean, come on. It's tough, but we don't want to make enemies here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
True.
And there might be a way forward with all this, but I'll tell you what. I mean, you're going to have me rank top 5 in the world. You're going to have me rank what we're going to talk about the World Cup today, and possibility of every 2 years. This is going to be we're going to be arguing a lot. I have a feeling. What do you think?
Yeah, we might. So. You're hyping me up. So who's your number 5 in the top 5 best players in the world right now?
I think so. You and I have a fundamental disagreement on ranking these top 5s right now. I want to do it via inform, but I will do. Why don't you say your top 5? I'll say my top 5, and then we can go through them. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to go one at a time? You want to go 5? Okay. All right. Well. Top 5 in the world right now. For me, my 5th, I'm going to go with, and you're setting me up for failure. I'm going to put Leo Messi because he hasn't played yet. He's barely played for PSG. Okay. And I'm doing mine based on form at the moment. Okay.
Damn.
I'm sorry. And what I'll do is once we get through it and through the things that I've prepared, maybe I'll go back and I'll list them per your rankings. But yeah, no, 5th in the world for me in terms of form is Leo Messi, taking into consideration this early season and the fact that he hasn't played much. But yeah, Messi's Messi and Messi's gonna Messi. But ultimately, if you're asking me who my number 5 is, kind of everybody at peak form, I'm gonna put Holland at number 5.
Okay, so Holland right now is at peak form, a top 5 player in the world right now for you.
Yeah, I think based on his importance to Dortmund, I think based on the fact that he's involved in every damn thing, he's breaking goal scoring records left and right in the Champions League, in the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing he's missing there, and it's going to be kind of the Lewandowski effect in this situation, is he's not going to ever really have the quality of a national team. Sorry, Norwegian fans, that, a Messi has or a Ronaldo has or whatever. So you take that kind of international, unless he can turn him into a golden generation of golden generations, kind of like a Belgium. So yeah, Holland's 5, but based on his current form, I would actually have him as high as 3. Versus putting Messi at 5. So I'm like confusing this whole thing. But who's your number 5?
My number 5 in the world's best right now is Kevin De Bruyne. Why? Okay. Because Kevin De Bruyne first needs to be mentioned in the top 5 of whatever. Because he's, in my opinion, the best midfielder in the world, as you were mentioning, in peak form. Sure. Kevin De Bruyne can go to any team. Even so, to a Man United that people compare Bruno Fernandes with Kevin De Bruyne, if you have there at Man United Kevin De Bruyne, they'll find a way to start him, okay? Mm-hmm. Because he just makes the difference. Creativity, vision, he's at his own level. Yeah. So he's on my top 5. He's my number 5.
Okay.
So number 4.
Number 4. Well, you got to go yours first right now.
Okay, so my number 4 in the world right now is a player that, sadly, I'm not gonna put him at number one. And like he should be number one in the world right now, considering like what I was thinking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is Neymar Jr. He had a big development. I'm not gonna be bashing here Neymar, saying, oh, he became a worse player at PSG, but he became a very different player at PSG. Yes, he had that amazing run to the Champions League final, but he didn't win it. And for the simple fact that he didn't win it, I won't put Neymar ahead of Ronaldinho. The moment he wins a Ballon d'Or, I'm okay to have this conversation.
Okay.
But right now, I still can. So sadly, I'm putting Neymar at 4 in the world right now. But there you go.
Yeah, that's why this is difficult. That's why this is difficult. All right. Well, I'm basing mine off of current form. Okay. So 4 for me is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. And if we don't actually preface that, I'm going to get burned in the comments. I am ranking this based off of current form. And sorry, he's part of a squad that can't beat Aston Villa. Apologies. So
he's got, how many goals does he have, though?
Yeah, I mean, how many penalties does he have?
But that gives credit to the goals that he has with a squad like this.
Right. Well, okay. But you compare him to the top 3, and there's no way you can put him based on current form anywhere close to these top 3. Okay.
What? Why? Why, though?
Right now. Well, wait until my top 3's announced. Okay. You got to wait till my top 3's announced. But I mean, if we're going to go all-time top 4 in the world, everybody peak form, 4 would be De Bruyne for me. Okay. And to be honest, I think he's like the only number 10 that I have on here. I have him instead of Neymar. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you can slot him in anywhere, and he will be part of the team fabric, but he will also take a game and turn it on top of its head in one fell swoop. So see, I'm confusing myself in all of this, but 4 for me in current form is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I know I'm going to get killed in the comments, but it does not mean that, CR7 is the 4th best player in the world if everybody's peak form. Okay.
But
he is number 4. Okay. All right. Now,
okay. So
we've already said my 3. So I'll just bring it up again. 3 in current form, not peak form for me, is Erling Holland. All right. Erling Holland has 69 goals in 68 matches for Dortmund. Okay. He's already got, I've already lost count. We know who he's fighting against, in the Bundesliga Golden Boot race. But you add 19 assists to that. I mean, this kid has very much, he's got a Lewandowski and a Zlatan mentality kind of all tied into one. He never settles. He's the type of guy that, we've seen it happen before. He says, hey, you just scored, 2 goals today. How do you feel, Erling? And he goes, well, I should have gotten the 3rd and the 4th. Right. Exactly. And the fact that everyone that we name here, he's 7 or maybe, 5 to like 10 years younger than everyone that we're going to name in the top 5, regardless of peak form or current form. Okay. That just tells you all you need to know about what kind of future he has. But it is kind of funny. Like we're not even, I don't know if you're going to mention Kylian Mbappe, but current form right now, Erling Braut Haaland, he's killer.
I'll be honest, Breton. Kylian Mbappe isn't a top 5 player right now.
Oof.
He isn't. I put Salah ahead of Mbappe. Okay. Okay. Right now, in terms of form, I put Salah ahead of Mbappe. I put Lukaku ahead of Mbappe.
Yep. Okay.
I think that's not too bold. I think Kane he's not better, but it can be a conversation too.
Okay.
So, but I don't want to drift off. So my number 3 is Leonel Messi.
Okay.
Leonel Messi.
Wow.
And I'm not going to be calling him Pessi like a lot of comments that I see in 433 have. Yeah. But I am going to say he's being a bit exposed because he is in an uncomfortable situation at PSG, okay, with a manager that I don't know, that it doesn't seem to be working, okay, with that substitution that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Messi, of course, he is the best player in form, but obviously in the world top 5 right now, I put Messi in the 3rd slot.
Okay.
In the 3rd slot.
So peak form though, you would still keep him 3, or you would put him up to 1? or
Peak of
two?
the peak. Are we talking peak of the peak? But
We're confusing the issue here. We'll have to list them at the end. And
are we
then
talking?
that's my fault. You and I had
I
very
get you.
different ideas on what the homework assignment was, but that's okay. But 3, Lionel Messi. And hey, for every person that calls Messi Pessi, there are people out there that call Ronaldo Pinaldo. So it's
well, they call him Pinaldo, but who missed the penalty today was Bruno Fernandes.
Well, that's true.
Okay, so he has the attitude for Bruno Fernandes to take that penalty.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Honestly, it's a good combo we can have here. So that Messi is in my number 3 position.
Okay.
So top 2.
Yep.
Top 2 talk.
Top 2 talk.
So you go first or me?
You go ahead.
Okay, so number 2 in the world right now, é o rei disto tudo, Cristiano Ronaldo. So, why do I put him at number 2? Because I'm seeing the beginning of this season, and you mentioned it. This United squad doesn't have the coach. Okay? United are playing without a coach compared to a Chelsea with a Tuchel, Man City with a Guardiola, and Liverpool with a Klopp. Man United have Oli. Come on, guys. Please see what's happening, okay? Imagine, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to go bold. If Zidane goes to Man United, he has a direct impact in having Varane at center back, having a player like Bruno Fernandes, having a Sancho, having all these players. They look up to Zidane in a different type level, okay? Sure. And I do think Zidane would find interesting the Real Madrid job. Zidane would find interesting the Man United job because it's an historic club just like Real. He doesn't need the paycheck. He wants titles and he wants to be in history. So I'm going to put Ronaldo number 2 and thinking too that Oli might leave at the end of this season and he'll go bold with the new coach too. So I believe in Ronaldo saving Man United this season.
So you did like saving. A hybrid. Yeah, you did a hybrid of top form, peak form, and current form as it stands. And yeah, the only thing standing, I guess, in Ronaldo's way and United's way is a proper steward of the club. Hell, I'd even take Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti and what he's done with Real Madrid.
I feel you.
At United right now because
I feel
you just need. It's tough to watch when you see Vinicius carving through defenses. They need a little injection of confidence there at United too. So Zidane at United would be, I would be here for that. I would really enjoy that experiment. But anyway, my number 2, based on current form, not on peak form, is going to be Karim Benzema. I mean, 8 goals. 8 goals, 7 assists in 6 La Liga matches. Real Madrid looks like a different squad. It actually looks like he has a supporting cast. He's been a different player since Ronaldo left a while back. I mean, just look at this. 30 goals last year, 9 assists. I think it was 27 goals the year prior and 11 assists. And this year he's on pace for, I don't know, like 60 goals. We know he's not going to wind up probably with 60 goals. But Carlo Ancelotti actually came out and he goes, oh, yeah. I fully expect Benzema to be somewhere in the 40 to 50 goal range, right? And he leads the top 5 leagues in goal creating actions, which I know is a relatively new stat that not a lot of people take a look at, but it does give you an idea of he's also setting people up at the same time as taking his chances. And what he means to Real Madrid, right, is just, it's virtually invaluable. I mean, he is indispensable to them at the moment. And if Ancelotti can somehow get something out of Gareth Bale, injured, get something out of Eden Hazard, which we've started to see a little step up in form from him, and the common cast of common world-class cast of Cruz and Casemiro and all them. Real Madrid looks great. And what solidified it for me the other day, talking about current form, was did you see the midweek game with him, Mallorca? He's got 2 Mallorca defenders tracking him into the 18. And Asensio. And he backtraps the ball. He takes his freaking shoulder blades and he does it on purpose. It looks like he does it on purpose. He then rounds the ball, puts it in the back of the net. And you're like, come on, this guy is peak form. I'd love to see him do it for the French national team too, which we didn't see much of it at Euros. But Karim Benzema, 8 goals, 7 assists in 6 games currently. He's my 2.
Benzema needed that time too, so he's unfairly judged to the French national team because he just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So Benzema is a stud, and actually, you mentioned it. He adapted so well after Ronaldo left. I was thinking he would be the player that would leave in a rebuild, but I am shocked with how he's adapting to every new style of play.
Yeah.
Because he's staying there. Okay, a lot of players coming. Luka Jovic is coming. He's staying. So Benzema is a very good mention, but I won't put him at 2. That is bull, Bretson. That is bull. But,
current form.
So I'm gonna say my number 1, and as you may guess, my number 1 in the world right now is Lewandowski, like Golski, as Thomas Muller once said. So I'll just say a stat, and you guys will fully understand why. Yesterday was the first match Robert Lewandowski hasn't scored a goal since February 11th.
What a chump.
That that is insane, okay? So we are used to seeing we are used to seeing Lewandowski scoring every week. Okay? So I'm a Bayern fan. Oh, Lewandowski's going to score. So only this week, since February, it has stopped. That is insane. And I just wanted to say that if Robert Lewandowski doesn't get a Ballon d'Or in his career, it's embarrassing because he sure deserves it.
Yeah.
Robert Lewandowski deserves to win a Ballon d'Or. Okay? Yeah. Last year he deserved it, and maybe in this year he does too. I believe it. He's my world number 1 right now. Okay?
I mean, after 48 goals last season, he's already got 11 in 8 games this season. And even current form or peak form, it sounds like you and I are aligned because I have Lewandowski at number 1 as well.
Yeah.
And he's easily the best natural goal scorer in the world right now. And, I mean, he won the European Golden 48 goals. 48 goals, okay? But I do have to ask, like, taking the other side of things, right? Due to Bayern's dominance in the Bundesliga over the last almost decade now, right? I think the last person to win the Bundesliga that was not Bayern was Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund. Is that correct?
I think so too.
Yeah,
yes.
I think so. Yeah. So how much of this is the fact that Bayern is such a well-oiled machine versus, like, basically, I guess what I'm getting at is if Robert Lewandowski was picked up, put in, say, Manchester City squad, would he still be putting in 11 goals in the first 8 games of the year or 48 goals a year?
Very good point, Bretton. And I'm now thinking maybe if Neymar was at Bayern Munich 5 years ago, he would have fought 4 Ballon d'Ors.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
So that's a very nice point. And in a top 10 list, I'm putting Kimmich. And I'm putting Lewandowski there. They weren't expensive players to Bayern. And they developed them into becoming expensive players. Yeah. So it's not like getting Messi and Neymar like PSG got. Bayern actually developed them. Okay, so...
And here's the crazy thing. They never even needed to sell, right? They didn't need to cash in on any of these guys. And that's the thing. I'm trying to think of others that they've been able to. Hell, if they wanted to, they could sell off Kingsley Coman for probably 50 million, 60 million if they get him healthy and they get him a goal or 2 and then boom, ship him off. But ultimately, I mean, just the business that Bayern has done and the dominance that they've created in the Bundesliga has created this well-oiled machine, and that well-oiled machine is very much so Joshua Kimmich, Thomas Muller, still kicking after all these years, and Robert Lewandowski. I mean, it's just, and Manuel Neuer, but I mean, it's just such a class foundation that I don't know. We're never really going to know unless Lewandowski moves on, whether or not he can do it elsewhere. And I think he's the type of guy that, I don't know. Do you see him moving on? I know there was talk about Chelsea.
I do see him moving on because players do get sick of it and he's in a routine. Okay. Yeah. And if you see Lewandowski, he is the type of player that I would compare with Ronaldo in terms of physical shape and focus, okay, overall in his body. So that's the thing. I wouldn't say that Lewandowski, it would happen what happened to Thiago Alcantara, because Thiago Alcantara at Bayern Munich was the best midfielder in the world, and now he's not even in the top 20 list maybe. No. Okay, that is bold, but that's the talk that we get. Top 10? I don't know. But I don't think that would happen to Lewandowski, because I do think he's more rigid with himself. Okay, so
and here's the thing. With all that said, and me going over that as I tried to rank these, he's still number one on both of our lists. You know, you can take him. Thing is he is just a class player, and I hate these exercises. They make me they make me angry at myself.
So let me just say, everyone that's listening to the video, if you have a player that you think should be in the top 5, comment down below and justify why. We love a good talk, and there you go. So next topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the next topic is the most expensive Wonderkids 11 by Transfer Market.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting list, and for anyone thinking, oh, the best goalkeeper must be Donnarumma, no, he's not 21 anymore. He's 22, guys. Yeah. So he's not anymore in the under 21 list.
He's graduated.
So, exactly. So I'm gonna say the team in a 4-3-3 scheme with an attacking midfielder. So goalkeeper is Erling Messi, left back Alfonso Davies, center backs Fofana, and then we have 3 players with the same price: Lacroix, Sven Botman, and Badbashil.
Yep.
3 amazing center backs. Then at right back we got Reece James, 2 CMs, Pedri, and Foden. And at cam we have João Felix. At left wing, Jadon Sancho. And at striker, Erling Holland. Right winger to finalize, Ferran Torres, with the same price as Mason Greenwood. So, goalkeeper, do we agree with it, Erling Messi?
Yes. I to be honest, I think more of an impact for their team, because he's playing European, is Anatoly Trubin. But you've got the Premier. The reason why Meslier is in there is he's worth 20 million according to Transfermarkt, whereas Anatoly Trubin's only worth 8, and that's simply because of geographic location, right?
Yeah.
One's in Ukraine. Yeah.
League.
And league. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. It's the league, you know. It's so. I think Erling Meslier for sure. The development with Bielsa is noticeable, but I want to say to the listeners, watch out for Diogo Costa at Porto. Okay, this kid is slowly becoming the keeper for Portugal, and even he's not under 21. I think right now, I think he's 22. But Luis Maximian had a really good performance with Granada too. But Diogo Costa, he's the under 21. Yeah. Watch out, guys.
You were really excited about that Luis Maximiano game the other day. You texted me.
First half.
Yeah, that's great.
Barcelona, no chance to score. He was everywhere, like a cat. Like, he was really good.
That's awesome.
He was really good.
That's awesome. So, and Diogo Costa, that's a good shout as well. And I think there's some others that we have to throw in there, like an Ersin Destinaglu. I don't know if I said that Turkish last name correctly, but he's obviously been pretty vital for them. Martin van der Voort still for Genk in the Belgian Pro League. And then, I mean, the other one, unfortunately, he was just sold. I think it was Dogan Alamdar is another Turkish goalkeeper to watch out for. I think he just joined Stade Rennais. I mean, Stade Rennais is just like they're literally playing Football Manager. They're just snapping people up. But I think when it comes down to it, it's Meslier. You could make an argument that Anatoly Trubin and Meslier are similar in terms of actual talent. But Meslier playing on the stage, Leeds United, Marcelo Bielsa putting his confidence behind him. I can understand why he's in here.
So, left back?
Yeah.
So, Alfonso Davies, do you agree or disagree?
Well, I obviously agree, but I think we know that there's going to be a slight disagreement here between you and I.
Mate, you know, people know Nunes is my left back, my under 21 left back, and it's not for people say, oh, you're just being picky. No, I really believe it now, because what you're going to see this season, it's going to happen. And saying Nuno Mendes versus Alfonso Davies, we might see it in a game in the Champions League. So
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful for what's going to happen for him. And I'm going to mention it previously. Again, Bruno Fernandes left for 60, Nuno for 40. It's going to be the same. It's going to look embarrassing for Sporting in terms of deals. So left back, Nuno Mendes.
I mean, these are slam dunks here. It's either Alfonso Davies or it's Nuno Mendes, and because beyond that, you have Rayon Aït-Nouri, who plays for Wolves. You've got you could put Josko Gvardiol, who plays center back and can play on the wing.
Yeah.
Adrian Truffert, Brandon Williams, but none of these guys are up there with either of those two. And yeah, you're right. This is just a snapshot in time at left back of Alfonso Davies, who obviously has dealt with injuries over the last few years for Bayern, but obviously he's got a Champions League under his belt and a bunch of Bundesliga titles, whereas Nuno Mendes is coming up. He's coming up. He just made his big move to PSG. And once that success starts to roll for him, something tells me 40 million is going to go to 80 to 90 to 100.
Exactly. That's it, Bretson.
I'm coming around.
He's going to 80 million for Nuno Mendes. I love it. Okay.
We'll see.
So, center backs. So, we got Wesley Fofana, and I'm going to say Lacroix. So, do you agree?
Yeah, this is a peak form thing, right? Versus current form. I mean, yeah, when Wesley Fofana was Leicester City's main man, he was just phenomenal until that injury. And so I'm absolutely fine with that. That's obviously a product of the league as well, as we know. And Lacroix right now for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga has been phenomenal. I'd pick him probably currently over Sven Botman right now. But I got to say, coming up, man, Saliba has looked phenomenal for Marseille.
Yes! Arsenal fans!
Yeah.
I agree. Saliba is looking different.
Yes.
He's looking different. It's a redemption story for Saliba.
I hope
it's the second loan. Pressure. If it didn't succeed now, he wouldn't succeed later, in my opinion.
And that Marseille
top level.
Yeah, and that Marseille team is fun to watch. And I sincerely hope it's consistent this whole year, and I really do hope for Arsenal fans that next year he's starting right next to Gabriel, with Ben White or whatever. Then you start to look at it and you say, "Wow, this is a young center back core that we can grow with and get really flippin' excited about."
So I agree with Wesley Fofana because he's so dominant in the Premier League at such a young age. Unfortunate injury, but he'll come back stronger, guys.
Yeah.
But the other center back, I was leaning before the Euros with Sven Botman because I love Sven Botman last season. But I might sound biased, but I love Gonçalo Inácio at Sporting. And a player for Ajax was Julian Timber. Yeah. I like him too a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so... And Badiashile, he's good, but... I think long term, these two that I mentioned, Gonçalo Inácio and Timber, they're gonna be at peak. They'll be at the world's biggest stage.
Yeah, Timber's versatility is what makes it there too. But Inácio, that's a great one because
I'm gonna go bold here, Breton. I'm gonna tell you here, Gonçalo Inácio is the best passer in all these players. He's the best passing center back under 21. In the world, Gonçalo Inácio.
I mean, I'd actually probably agree with that, and I haven't watched too much of him, but
trust GPS radar pinpoint Gonçalo Inácio.
Fair enough.
Very, very good.
Only other guys that would be listed here that would really have a shout. Yeah, Eric Garcia, Mohamed Simakan, who's starting to come around for Red Bull Leipzig. Big win for them today. Jesse Marsch, hang in there. The funny thing is what did Chelsea get for Mark Gahey? And I think he's only on here for like a $10 million valuation. So I think Crystal Palace paid like 20 million extra. But yeah, I mean, these are all guys that haven't yet. The only other shout when he was peak form last year is the Albanian center back for Roma. Yeah, Marash Kumbula. I really have, when he's peak form, he's phenomenal. I don't think he's quite there yet But I do think he'll get there under Mourinho. So I'd watch out for him. He was only 25 million compared to these guys. But I really like your shouts of Timber and Inacio. And I would even add in there Tanguy Luanzu from
Bayern. Oh, but I'm waiting on it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on it. I've been waiting on it too much, Breton. Come on. For me to mention, they need to be showing me.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw one in there. A little biased because he just registered an assist today, and he's starting for Hoffenheim. Chris Richards is not quite over the 21 hump, so he's still in this. He's probably more like 8-7 million. Bayern loanee to Hoffenheim. He's looked pretty damn good so far. So
yeah, Chris Richards is a stud. He's
gonna be.
Okay,
he's gonna be. Yep.
Okay, right. So Hoffenheim, it's working out. So right back. Sorry, we can't disagree. Reece James, right?
No, I don't think we can disagree. Yeah. I mean, here's where if there's a weak spot in the world most expensive 11 for U21s, it's right back because you got Reece James, you've got like Serginho Dest, but then it goes to guys that are playing for Max Aarons, Tariq Lamptey. But then you go to guys that are really playing well right now, like Jeremy Frimpong and Divine Wrench. Yeah. I mean, those guys are they're in that like preliminary stage of the Nuno Mendes ascendancy, right? So I can't go in. Hopefully that Reece James injury today is not that bad. But Reece James is the man U21 right now.
Yeah, for sure. At right back, like that's it's no dispute right there. No. So that's the midfield talk. So the trio, just a reminder, is João Felix, Foden, and Pedri. Very attacking. So what's your under 21 trio in the world right now? Most expensive.
Well, I'm gonna pick two kind of. I mean, Pedri and Foden seems right to me. But based on current form. Based on current form, I think you and I are in agreement that it should be Bellingham and Camavinga. And then at attacking mid, to be honest, right now, I think João Felix is the only one that we would all agree probably shouldn't be there. That's a product of his 105. I know you want it to be true, but I have to put currently Florian Wirtz at AM.
Ooh, I like it.
And at the double CM, I'm going to stick with Pedri, but I'm going to put Bellingham next to him currently, right now. And I'm going to launch out Foden, get rid of João Felix, and somehow Camavinga is not in there. And Chouameni is the other one that I feel really bad about keeping out. So what do you think about that? Am I going to get killed?
Well, the one I feel bad keeping out is Camavinga and Gravenberch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez.
I feel bad, like, keeping Gravenberch because I think Gravenberch would be slotted in right now in a Barcelona team and would change how things look.
Yeah.
That's how confident how he is. So, my midfield, I have Pedri.
Yeah.
Because Pedri is in the Golden Boy talk.
Sure.
And I got Jude Bellingham too because Jude Bellingham is like the number 2 in the Golden Boy talk, which will be another talk soon.
Yeah.
But at Cam, Wirtz is impressing me a lot at the beginning of this season. Right now.
Yeah.
But I still think Foden is in a different category to every single youngster in the world. Right now, I think Mbappe, Haaland, and Foden are in their own level. Okay? Yeah. I feel like Greenwood is touching, Vinicius is touching, Felix wants to touch, like Fati's close, but Foden, Haaland, Mbappe are on their own level. So having Foden at Cam, I feel that's perfect. And just like you, I like your mention. And I just want to end up by saying, Felix, man, I believe in you. I really believe in you. The amount of times I'm here preaching, please, man, it's now it's the time, okay? And if it's not gonna happen this season at Atletico, it's time to go, okay? No more. And he'll look different somewhere else because he'll have more pressure to compete. And he'll have pressure to decide the right move, okay? He'll have pressure in that sense too.
And the funny thing here is that we didn't even really mention Jamal Musiala
Yep.
Dominic Soboslai, who's been, he's showing glimpses again. He's going
Gio Reyna.
Gio Reyna. And I think you've got some smaller league guys that can make a shout. I mean, anytime you outshine a Messi or a Hakimi or any of those guys, a Charles de Ketelaere needs to be in there. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Crystal Palace's Conor Gallagher. This kid has an engine. He's a tackler. He's just kind of like a fulcrum that you can use there, that pops up, scores a goal, has an assist every once in a while. That's another Chelsea transplant to Crystal Palace.
That's bold, Breton, though.
I know. And I get it. He's nowhere close to these guys right now, but he is. He's just a player I really like, and I don't know. I just enjoy him. Sorry,
no,
I have to announce it. And Maxence Caqueret is a guy I still believe in, even though Lyon does not look like the team that's gonna be phenomenal this year. Maxence Caqueret is a guy that any team can build around, in my opinion.
Very nice.
So, man, that is a stacked midfield U21. That is just stacked, though.
That means we're safe for the future, right there.
Yeah.
And if in the Wonderkids highlights, we'll mention even more players that, like Gavi, just saying, and in future under-21 lists we're gonna mention for sure.
Absolutely.
So, trio up front. Sancho, Holland, and Ferran Torres or Greenwood. Do you agree? What's your trio?
Okay. All right. I am comfortable with, based on current form, I would actually put Vinicius at left wing instead of Sancho. I understand why Sancho is obviously, he's valued at 100 million to transfer marked, but I would definitely have Vinicius. Ancelotti's Vinicius. And then up top, I got Holland. I have no problem with that. Right wing, I would definitely put, I'd put Greenwood over, Ferran. I thought he actually looked decent today in that loss. And I don't know, but Ferran's good too. Oh, this is too hard.
So, yeah. What's your trio? So it's Vinicius with Ancelotti, Holland, and Greenwood.
That's correct. That's my three.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a nice trio. Nice trio.
Yeah.
My trio is a bit different because there's a player that I really, 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 really love. And it's the type of player that I feel like if he was playing at Chelsea, Liverpool, I think this is bold, but I think he could slot in at Liverpool for sure coming off the bench.
I know where you're going.
And I'm going to say Jeremy Doku. He, in my opinion, should be in the top, like he should be in the trio up front in the under-21 list for me. Because Jeremy Doku is the best under-21 dribbler in the world. No doubt. If you see that Euros game, that Belgium gets eliminated, he was doing everything and anything for Belgium to go through. So at 19, seeing that and going to a team, Stade Rennes, that feel like that look like an ambitious club, signing potential players. They signed the cream of the pot, the cream on top of the cake. That is Doku, and he's a baller. So my trio is Haaland, Doku, and Jadon Sancho.
Okay.
But Jadon Sancho, you gotta wake up, because right now Mason Greenwood is better than Jadon Sancho. So I'm saying this hoping Jadon Sancho's showing what he showed at Dortmund. And another reason to say something is wrong, something is happening at Man United. Because you have a player that was top leading assists in the world last season, and now not even close. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Sancho, Haaland, Sancho, Haaland, and Doku.
And that front three, I mean, that's where a lot of the money is, right? We obviously overvalued our attackers, especially young attackers. So think about the players right now that are in form that aren't getting a shout here, and that's because there's only 3 spots in this particular tactical setup. You don't have Bukayo Saka. You don't have Moise Kean or Ansu Fati, who he's back, right? According to Barcelona's Twitter, he is back. You don't have Dusan Vlahovic. You don't have
I was gonna say
Antony
that
or Dejan or who knows, maybe Ancelotti can work some magic with Rodrigo. But Damsgaard or Jeremy Pino. I mean, these are guys that are pretty in form, but yeah, you don't have that boost yet, and consistency has to be an issue there. But yeah, this is why this exercise is actually fun to me, at least more fun than trying to rank the top 5 players in the world right now.
Well, if Holland isn't there, Vlahovic is in my team. Okay, I think Vlahovic is the number 2 in the under 21 striker position.
I agree.
Because like that number 9 at the back of his shirt, like it looks so fitting.
It does.
So.
It does. And the only other guy you got to give a shout in there is up at the top is Karim Adeyemi, and we know why his value's not going to be up there just yet, because he's playing for Red Bull Salzburg. But man, Karim he's balling out for Salzburg.
He is.
So,
he for sure
is. All right,
so,
man.
Any player that we didn't mention, guys, and you feel like should be in this 11, comment down below, okay? And yeah, just tell us why, because as said previously, we like a good chat.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I just had an idea. In the future, maybe next season coming around, we need to do like fantasy football, right? Mm-hmm. And I know there's fantasy Premier League, there's fantasy La Liga. You and I need to do a fantasy draft live. Fantasy draft of a U21 team, and we'll see who drafts the better team.
That'd be bold. Bold. I like that idea. And starting off the season real good.
Yeah, and if I win, I don't know, you have to shave your head or something.
We'll figure something out. Bold, literally. Yeah. Oh, that'd be crazy.
Or if I win, if you win, I have to wear a Nuno Mendes jersey on every podcast for a year. How's that sound?
That's not it there. Like that's something you'd love, mate.
That's true. Somebody send me that jersey, please, because I would wear it in a heartbeat.
Love it. So that is the best 11 talk. So we're gonna go to the Wonderkids highlights of the week.
Yeah.
So things that should be mentioned. So you want to start here?
Of course. I mean, we have to. We talked about it a little bit, but Vinicius just looks like a different player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this trio of Eden Hazard, Vinicius, and Karim Benzema under Carlo Ancelotti, they now officially, not that they even care about this, they have my attention. They really deserve a lot of credit here. And I mean, Ancelotti has a way of talking up his players and just puffing them up and playing to, I wouldn't call it their ego, but they just positive reinforcement. And Vinicius just looks like a very, very different player. He's the second best dribbler in La Liga right now. He's got 5 goals, 2 assists to start the year. I believe he's the best in terms of goal involvements, aside from, Erling Holland, in the top 5 leagues. And he's already 1 goal away from last year's tally that I think he put 6 goals in 49 games last year. He's got 5 in like 7 this year. So he's undroppable. And even Ancelotti has come out and said, this kid he's doing things and he has another step he can take. So it's just wonderful to see. And we have to give a little shout out to Real Madrid fans. I don't know how patient they've actually been, but it's been a pretty long road in terms of waiting for him to realize his potential. And I hope for their sake that this is consistent and this is like the breakout season for Vinicius.
I agree. And I would want to start my take with Vinicius is Vinicius Junior, in my opinion, is the best youngster in La Liga right now. Okay? In form. Okay, ahead of Pedri. Yes, ahead of Pedri. Because Vinicius, wow, what happened this summer? I have no idea, but he's built different this season. And I think Benzema is focusing a lot of his play on Vinicius too, and giving the responsibility in play of a big player. And I think that affects a lot that mentality with Vinicius.
Yeah.
And I would love if we could see like a special season of like the Amazon Prime with Tottenham behind the scenes. Sure. I would love to see the behind the scenes at Real Madrid, because clearly Carlo Ancelotti is doing something with Camavinga and Vinicius Junior.
Yeah.
The progress. It's not even the ability, because the ability, they had them. Sure. Carlo Ancelotti is working with the psyche of these 2 players, mentality-wise, Vinicius Junior and Camavinga look so different. Like when they score a goal, it's like they scream. It's like they want it. It's like they're proving every single doubter.
Yeah, see it.
So
see it.
That's a highlight I had to do there. Vinicius Junior.
And he's also working that magic with Asensio. I mean, seeing Asensio get that first oof, that was just
exactly
nice.
So it's mentality. You clearly can see it's all about mentality now at Man United. Real Madrid.
Yep.
Sorry.
Man United. There we go. Well, I'm sure you've got another shout there, but I only hope that that he can work this magic. And I mentioned this just like 2 minutes ago. Rodrigo is another one. Like he's one of the 2 Brazilians that they brought in, I guess, along with Rainier Jesus, but brought him in for a whole lot of money, and people have been sitting there, fans have been sitting there twiddling their thumbs, waiting for that outsized moment that they're going to deliver. And maybe it's happening. It seems like something good is brewing on the Real Madrid horizon. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going to mention a Portuguese player.
Okay.
And I'm going to go bold here. For me, this youngster is a top 5 under 21 youngster in Portugal. Okay. And this is Fabio Vieira at Porto. Okay. I think this is something that I wouldn't be surprised that could happen. Felix leaving Atletico and Atletico going to get Fabio Vieira to replace him. Okay? Because if you manage to see like the Porto Athletic game, these are two teams with a very similar style of play, but the way they react when they lose the ball is just very different. Okay? Yeah. So Fabio Vieira is the type of player that he would slot in creativity-wise at a very fast pace in midfield, and Felix would be the final pass. So these are 2 different areas that I think Atletico wanted to fill, but they didn't fill with Felix. So I want to highlight Fabio Vieira, though, because of the hat-trick of assists he had against Moreirense. Okay? And it was his first start for Porto. Okay? This is crazy. Okay, at first start, hat-trick of assists. It just shows that Porto have so many talents at that academy that didn't manage to get the opportunity that they deserved. I'm seeing Vitinha too, okay, waiting to see. And yeah, Vitinha and Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira is my big highlight this week, okay? So
well, I'll tell you what, that Atletico shout on bringing in Fabio Vieira, potentially, they might need it after they're going to have to do some soul searching today after that loss. They lost what? I think it was just 1-0 to probably one of the worst teams in La Liga. Yeah, to Alaves. And that brings me to another one. Facundo Pellistri. You remember when he came in and all, sort of fanfare, right? Before the whole Amad Diallo and everything with Manchester United. He can't even really get game time for Alaves. I want to see it, and I'm not seeing it right now. Instead, I'm seeing 26-year-old Matt Miazga at center back, man, which is great. I love seeing him play in La Liga. But yeah, they did not look their best selves today against Alaves. So we'll see.
That's not good.
But I'm going to stay in La Liga here because today, for some reason, we're talking a lot of La Liga, and that's okay. I got to bring up Yeremy Pino, which we mentioned during the most expensive 11. But this kid is like the youngest ever for Villarreal to feature in the Champions League. He's already got a Europa League that he actually contributed to, Europa League title. He's only 18 years old. He's got a couple goals already this year, and he's got 8 goals, 4 assists since he started playing for them in just like 1,700 minutes played. I'd like to watch him more, but he had a goal and an assist midweek against the teams he should be having scoring a goal and an assist, registering an assist against, and that's Elche, right? So Yeremy Pino is just, he's one that I could see getting snapped up by a larger La Liga team at some point in the future, unless Unai Emery turns him into some giant, which I don't know if we're going to see at Villarreal. But he's just been absolutely phenomenal. And every time I look at it, I go, okay, he's probably 21, 22 years old. The kid's 18. He's 18 years old, and he's doing this. So balling out, and I wish I could actually watch him more. But there's just too much football to watch these days.
Never too much football, Bretson. I just gotta cut you there.
I'm sorry. We need to petition somebody to put more hours in the day so I can watch all the football. How about we do that?
I get you though. So my next mention is Danielle Maldini. Okay,
Right.
yeah, you heard it, Maldini. He had his first start for AC Milan, and what did he do? He managed to score. Okay, interesting fact over here. Daniel Maldini scored 13 years after his dad scored his last goal for AC Milan, and 60 years after his granddad scored his last goal for AC Milan. So Maldini's name is in football heritage.
Oh
And
yeah.
look, I saw the game, and I saw the first half of the game, and that game was bonkers. Okay, everything was happening in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, I don't know. It's a very good pick in my opinion to put him in playing right now.
Yeah.
Because for Maldini, like I thought he was going to go out on loan, but if he's staying, he should be playing.
I
So
I agree with you there. I was very surprised to see him get the start today, and he rewarded them with a goal, and I think it was all U23s that scored both goals and assisted both goals for AC Milan in their comeback win. And that's another one we got to throw out to go back to La Liga. If you're going to name Daniel Maldini, Brahim Diaz, right? Former Manchester City, former Real Madrid kid. He's just killing it for Milan this season. I think he's already got 4 goals, maybe even 5. So it's great to see Milan starting to build around the future and give opportunities to a guy like Maldini and a guy like Brahim. So
there you go. There you
love
go.
it.
You got any other pick in the Wonderkids highlights?
I mean, I got one more here. I was going to bring up, everybody just needs to go out, you search Sergei Pinyayov. I don't know how many Russians we have on here, so that listen to us, but I've been watching him since he was, and I'm going to botch the name, but I've been watching him since he was in the 2nd division with Chernatovo, and he has since made a move to the Premier Liga with, I believe it's with Samara. And he scored 2 goals in cup play last week, and the kid is 16 years old. Okay. And he did that only a couple days after registering his first Premier League assist. So he's starting to kind of gain steam. I think he had another sub appearance today, no goals or assists. But, an attacking mid/winger, you're going to want to just watch him. Okay. He's diminutive. He's not like a big guy, but very technical, a lot of fun to watch. And from a place that we don't all normally talk about here. So mainly because of, I guess, because of the language. But
I'll be
really,
honest,
yeah,
I don't know too much about him, so
yeah.
you're like teaching me about him. So I'm
Good.
loving it.
Well, he was playing regularly last year as a 15-year-old. And
Okay.
it's fun to watch those types of, you see some of them fizzle out, and then you see some of them turn into Christian Pulisic or Florian Wirtz, right? So I hope that continues for him, because Russia needs another golden generation, and they've got some really good parts, not just in Penyaev, but also in Arsene Zakarian, and I'm forgetting the other guy that's also on that squad. Oh man, he's a striker and he's very good, and I can't remember his name right now. But the one I really was going to mention, and I mentioned him last week, and he's a much older than this 16-year-old. It's Victor Osimhen, okay, who has turned into the guy for Napoli. First off, Napoli looks unbeatable in Serie A this year. They play attractive football, and Osimhen has 5 goals in his last 3 games. And I just love one of these stories. It's like what people want to see Nicolas Pepe turn into for Arsenal, right? They both happen to have their origin story at Lille. But Osimhen has this massive $70 million euro price tag put on his back, right? He goes to Serie A. Everybody expects day one fireworks, goals galore, him basically bossing people around. It doesn't happen. He needs the transition. He has a couple injuries. He gets through that. And now he is really starting to play like somebody that could help them win their first Serie A title in like 30 years.
It was the big money, though. It was the big money with Osimhen.
It was.
It was 70, right?
70 million, yeah.
I know he justified in an international level, I think, which he was very good for Nigeria, right?
Yes.
But it's bold when you're paying 70 million, but Napoli fans are sure happy now, so we can't go against that.
No, can't.
So if there's any Wonder Kid that you feel like should have been highlighted, please go to the comment section and go comment and tell us why, okay? Because we love to
Please.
know the reasons why.
Yeah.
So, next topic and final topic is the World Cup talk.
Yeah.
So, I was on Twitter like 3 days ago and I was saying, people talking about every 2 years having a World Cup.
Oof.
Okay, and I was saying, my first opinion is, this is way too bold. This is way too bold. But then I thought, let me see. This is a good talk for the pod, so let's get to it.
Well, if it's too bold for you, Alex, that's saying something. So, yeah, I mean, this is just one of those things that if you think about it right away, right? If you just react to it right away, immediately my blood boils. Okay, my blood boils because there are positives to it, and we'll go through them. But right away I go, it's going to water down the World Cup. The World Cup will not mean as much as it seemingly means right now to us. And I don't know if anything we say beyond that will ever get me past that point number one. Okay? So I don't know. I mean, how do you feel? If you had it every 2 years, would it mean
That's fair enough. It would become more saturated. That is fair enough.
Yeah.
But we need to see too, like, football is in a very fragile state.
Sure.
And financially, having it 2 years is the world would be united watching football every 2 years.
Yep.
So, but my big no-no for this, personally, because I love club football, is injuries. Okay.
Of course.
I think we would exceed, physically, like the needs that these players, the needs would far exceed, because right now we are just not ready. Okay, it would be too many matches in such a short period of time. Yeah. And your first point, you rocked with that one, and that's my opinion too. No World Cup for every 2 years because it would become more saturated.
Sure,
but the person who's doing the ideas, Arsene Wenger, football's world's chief in development, he's got one point that I love it. I love it. And it's having in 1 month the qualifiers. Nobody in football wants to see now the national team. Nobody. Everybody wants to see club football next week at the end of this month. And we're going to see the national teams. And I'm telling you, if you manage to do a survey, if football fans, if we do a survey worldwide, people would say we would prefer 1 month all the qualifying games. It's just more interesting. And it just keeps everyone entertained in that one competition. So, yeah.
And there are ways to do that. I mean, if you take the Euros, right, which would have to move to a different year if you're having a World Cup every 2 years, right? You could make that the qualifying tournament in some ways, right? But I think there's also a difference here because in the U.S., which I know is, first off, let's be honest, this is a money grab. It's a clear money grab. It should be a money grab because if you if even 50% of the money, and that's probably too high, but if even 50% of the money goes towards grassroots football, and you go to all different all different sides of the planet and start to build the game, it is the stated goal of FIFA. So money grab makes sense. And I'll be very honest too. If the World Cup happened every 2 years, I'm not boycotting the World Cup. I'm watching it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to buy stuff. I'll buy those little Panini stickers. We know we're all football starved individuals. But what it will do, and the world has changed, is there are now 210, 215 countries. And there's only, I think, only like 20% of the world has actually taken part in a World Cup. Okay. Now, do I really want to see the Maldives get crushed 16-0 by Portugal in the World Cup? No, I don't. But ultimately, we are moving to a more globalized world.
Yes.
And a world that, all of Europe essentially watches football. All of South America essentially watches football. A lot of Africa watches football. But where is a lot of the money now? Far East, Middle East, North America. Right?
And Asia.
And well, yeah, Far East.
Asia's the biggest market.
Exactly. That's what I mean by Far East. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I meant totally. You're absolutely right there. So all of that money there, there aren't great teams coming from there. Japan, South Korea, sort of Iran every once in a while has a very good team. And over here, the US, there's competition for eyeballs, but there's a lot of money. And there are a lot of my friends love to watch the US men's national team and only watch Euros. They do not support really the domestic league whatsoever. Okay. So there's so much room to grow. And I'm looking at that and saying, okay, that's a positive because if they're going to watch the US men's national team every 2 years, there's a good chance, you're going to get them eventually to trickle down into other things that they want to watch. I don't know. I mean, it never trumps the point of watering down World Cup. Just imagine this was all based apparently, and I'm sorry to keep talking on this, but I thought about this a lot because, you made me do it. I thought about this a lot, and it's all based on some FIFA commission survey that said, well, based on this survey, more people would rather watch the World Cup every 2 years. That's literally like big oil companies saying we issued this survey and everybody says that oil is clean. That is the clean energy of the future, right? Of course, FIFA wants it every 2 years. But I'm skeptical of all that because I guarantee if we polled our listeners who are diehards for the most part, I'm pretty sure everybody would be in the same camp as us. Not 2 years.
Wasn't there a whole documentary on Netflix about the oil?
Yeah.
So like that says it all. But I'll be honest, China and the US in 10 years time, we'll be having a much different conversation. And like, this is a bold prediction that we could take out of this tape of episode 23. China might win a World Cup with the investment that they're doing in 20 to 30 years time. That is not too bold to say. So I believe in it. And a big reason why too a lot of fans don't support clubs locally too much is because the Premier League is so well advertised in Asia that people are growing up not to become Shanghai Shenhua fans, but Man United or Liverpool fans. So good job, Premier League, because they've been investing in the Asian market real soon since Ferguson was at Man United with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So good on them. But I wanted to point out the person who is doing all this. So Arsene Wenger. So I feel like just the fact that we have someone thinking about these possibilities at the world's highest level, I'll be honest, I'm very happy. Because Arsene Wenger, in my opinion, is a top 5 manager of all time in any list. For me, he changed the Premier League and how people had to think outside the football pitch because conditioning, training, he changed everything. Even nutrition, Arsene Wenger had a stance in England. And the fact that now he's helping the world football development in general, personally, I love it, okay? So I am not a big fan of the idea, but I do admire how we have someone in front like Arsene Wenger leading the way and seeing how we can improve the game.
Fair enough. I mean, but you could also say he's kind of staking his reputation on this idea. And he believes his defense is saying that this in turn makes football better, clearer, simpler, and more meaningful. And we have to kind of revisit that first thing. From a competition perspective, it's like winning a gold medal every 2 years. It doesn't resonate as much as it does every 4 years. And you want something that you really build up excitement for. But we are in a very fast world, in a very fast globalized society. And let's be honest, a lot of our followers are on TikTok, where most of it's 10 to 60 seconds long, right? We're not out there watching full documentaries on big oil. We're watching little snippets. And
very true.
Okay, every 2 years, maybe that does make a little bit of sense. But we have one big change coming up by 2026. And that big change is inviting 12 more teams. 12? Yeah, 12 more teams. No, 14 more teams.
Okay,
Yeah.
more teams.
More teams. There will be 48 teams at the 2026 World Cup in the US, Mexico, and Canada.
Okay.
That alone is a massive, massive change because we're going to see if the competition, if it turns into 7-0 games or these are really, cream of the crop isn't so much better than that middle rung, that whatever. So there's so many changes already happening that you're going to hit us with the Super League squashed for now and a 2-year World Cup. I can't take it. I can't.
I get you.
And we don't like change. We don't like change. So
I agree with your points. Just like the Champions League, I would stick the World Cup like it is, but I would put those 1-month qualifiers.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you guys think should have been said in this World Cup talk, please put down below in the comment section. And yeah, I think that wraps up FC Wonderkid episode 23. If you have any topics that you think should have been mentioned in this pod, please put in the comment section down below. And if you want to help out the channel, please go subscribe and like the video. Liking the video is a huge help in the algorithm. And yeah, just go smash it. And yeah, love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and this was a fun one, Alex. I think when we start doing these lives in the future, this is the type of thing you can open up. As long as we all agree to be civil about it. It'd be fun to have conversations with people that watch us.
It's gonna for sure happen. Like we're for sure gonna listen to you guys, and yeah, it's gonna be very good. The lives are closer than ever. Okay, yeah. So if you could go follow the Twitch too, that'd be a huge help because it's coming soon. So FC Wonderkid episode 23, guys. So
peace signing out. Off.